Let's take one more question. We're about out of time. Yes, ma'am. I think that's. I can't see very well. I'm sorry.
Hi, I'd like to ask what the CEOs or how you're strategically planning for the tsunami of what we see in dementia care needs.
Huge issue.
We're developing at all of our properties. We don't build an assisted living property now without memory care component and without a specific neighborhood for memory care. And I think that's one of the most exciting things about our industry today is the creativity and the new concepts and the new modalities of care that are taking place in the industry. And I would encourage everyone to be very proactive with that because it is ever evolving. There is a tsunami, but there's just as great a tsunami with the assisted living customer as well coming through the demographic pipeline toward our properties. But that is a huge component, and there's so much new. It's almost as difficult to keep up with that as it is technology, Todd. In all of the new things that are happening with dementia care, you read a new study and a new report every week, literally, and a new pharmaceutical approach. And it's one of the ways that our industry, and particularly our association, can be the leader in this and be the champion of it by sharing all of those best practices and sharing the things that we learn and maybe perhaps foster our own studies as an organization related to that. There's several universities, one large Florida university that's just started a very large study that they're doing in this field for residents in the state of Florida that's exciting. But you know, we started out, the assisted living industry started out as a movement, and I think dementia care is an additional portion of that movement. And it's important for us to continue to be the leader and be creative. We began the movement out of being distinctively different than other types of care and long-term care, specifically nursing homes. And that distinction is what the consumer saw and what the consumer flocked to. And out of that grew the largest single private pay healthcare system in America, and it's assisted living. And you all created that as part of a movement. And I think it's important for us as an organization and as an industry to not become a category, but to continue to become a movement and be the champion with dementia care and Alzheimer's care and the programming and the things that are necessary to provide the proper environments and the proper modalities of care for that, and not let it morph and become a department or a subset of assisted living, but let it be part of the continued movement of assisted living and maintain our distinction. One of the difficult, and I'll throw this out, I know you're out of time, but one of the difficult things for us as an industry is to continue to be different. And nursing homes are wildly beautiful, and adopting the residential model of care in nursing homes, there's not as much distinction in the environment anymore. There's less and less distinction because of regulations and the high acuity that we serve. There's less and less distinction with the regulations. Fire codes certainly are being adopted in assisted living that's identical to nursing homes. So that distinction is eroding a little bit, and this is an area in dementia care where we can continue to be the leader and continue to be distinctively different in many ways, to not become a category and just a product type, but be a movement, continue to be the movement and the choice for seniors in America. We want seniors in America that need services and need dementia care even in their own home, and need groups to be a part of for Alzheimer's. We want them to seek assisted living in our industry as a resource for that, and to continue the movement toward new modalities of care and new options that could be available for them and be on the leading edge of that. It's a great opportunity for our organization to be the model for America.
Todd's actually doing some very cool stuff in that. I don't know, and you ought to just say a word, because I think it's pretty exciting what you're doing.
Well, we're trying to reinvent our whole memory care program from top to bottom, inside and out, looking at the cares, mainly looking at people. Who do we choose to be the caregivers in memory care? Having a lot of discussion has happened this week on emotional intelligence, trying to find the right people to put into those environments, incentives, getting those folks maybe more incentivized because of the work they do on our behalf and on the behalf of the families who have, and we challenge ourselves, how do you deal with MCI, mild cognitive impairment folks whose adult daughter won't have mom move into an actual dementia or Alzheimer's community? So how do we as an industry start addressing, do we now have certain areas where we can do mild cognitive impairment? Because that's a huge, you talk about a tsunami, that's a huge entry level into dementia and Alzheimer's. So I think the challenges we have are huge in this area, and I guess I would just encourage all of us just to really dig deep and start looking at how do we really deal with this, this tsunami, because it's upon us and it's going to get bigger, so we need to deal with it.
I think you're on to one issue that I do think is important, and that is the differentiation of the patient in the whole world. You know, we use this sort of bucket of Alzheimer's and dementia, but we just opened in California in our first, and it's a secure community, but it is dedicated to mild cognitive impairment. And we have several couples up there where Mr. May have mild cognitive impairment and Mrs. is just fine, but in their large apartments, and it's been a real success. It's part of a large rental CCRC in Southern California, where there's a lot of different needs on the campus in that particular unit, and there's also a higher dementia segregated unit at that particular community. Seems to be working very well, but it's much more complicated than even just differentiating. So, any last comment or last word? Okay, well, we thank you all very much. We'll try to get you out of here on time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Pat. Stay seated for just a second. Thank you so much. One more time, these great leaders in our industry, creating the future of senior living, and NHI, Justin, for sponsoring this. Thank you so much. One more round of applause.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
And
thank you.
We got 3 more concurrent sessions following this. They're really great sessions. You won't want to miss them. And then we'll see you next year, 2012, in Dallas. Thank you.